All right, I've had two shots and a Pierre, whatever, uh, lime, carbonated water, whatever. I'm aggravated. I'm currently watching the beginning of the episode 2 of the Doctor Who Flux, so I'm aggravated, and I've been working for 12 hours straight. So yes, I'm aggravated. Oh, anyway, yes, Michael J. Fox. You would think Teen Wolf and Back to the Future, and then Spin City, and then possibly Designated Survivor. You think, wow, he's been in all these things. You know, he's been in a few movies, if you are aware. But it's a thing. If you know, he has been in a dozen dramas, which one of them I have right here, called Bright Lights, Big City. Guest starring Keith Sutherland. Now, you would think, wow, Michael J. Fox and Keith Sutherland, that'd be a powerhouse, that'd be a blockbuster. Why haven't I heard of that? For one very obvious reason. It's a shit story. Okay, back in the late 80s and early 90s, Michael J. Fox decided to get into the drama circuit where it's straight drama. No werewolves, no time travel, just drama. So yeah, he's been in a dozen films. Was it Doc Hollywood and Bright Lights Big City? And then there was one where I believe he was in the Vietnam War. I forget what that one's called. I think it was maybe over the River Kwai. I think I'm not sure. There was a bridge, so fuck if I know if that was a bridge over the River Kwai. I don't know, but it shows that his platoon decided to kidnap and rape this Vietnamese girl or whatever war they're in. I don't fucking know. But they kidnapped this girl and they used her as their sex slave. And Michael J. Fox's character just goes along with it like a mafia wife, just saying, "Well, I don't know. I don't know." And then afterwards, after they stab her, and then she eventually dies, he goes back to the military saying like, "They did this," and it's like, "Well, what do you want us to do?" Like in my life, when I tell people shit, they're like, "What do you want me to do?" What, that ineffective like shoulder shrug, you know? I hate that. So he gets that and he's like, what's going on? Well, I'm in the latrines and hey, a grenade! The almost gets blown up, and then he gets a shovel and whacks one of his comrades in the face with it. That's all he does, and he storms off. Goes back to America where he sees this, I believe, Vietnamese girl with glasses reading a book on a bus, and I think he apologizes to her in a park or something. I don't know if she's real or not, but I think it's supposed to be symbolic of him saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't bother to do thing one in your captivity, rape, and eventual murder." Or, sorry, inevitable murder. Yeah. So you probably think, well, gee. Oh, and Michael J. Fox was in a cop film where he was an aspiring actor, apparently doing a lot of coke, apparently because he's like hyperactive, where he uh, basically wants to get into character, so he basically partners up with this cop, and then the cop sets up this thing where he thinks he killed the guy. Yeah, I know, kind of shit thing, right? So there's been like a string of films where they were not very blockbustery, sorry, where you think, well, it's Michael J. Fox, and these are high quality Hollywood productions. Why weren't they really good, you know, productions? Not productions, but successes, these blockbuster hits. Because it doesn't matter how big the Hollywood star you have in your reasonably pretty good story. If your story is a downer story or a shit story, it's not gonna make much money. It's not gonna People are gonna going to like it. Do you think people like this shit? No. What the story is about is Michael J. Fox. We understand his spiral into drug abuse and depression. That's it. We understand why he goes into that, but nothing much more than that. Nothing. Not him making a dramatic life choice turn or his life turning himself around, becomes a better person. None of that. It's just him spiraling down the toilet. That's it. Um, the Vietnam one, the war one, he doesn't win. He doesn't do anything. He didn't do anything at the time to stop them, or during each time when she's being raped. Nothing. So by the time he goes and says I'm sorry to that girl on the bus or whatever the fuck ever, it comes off as really you're trying to do that. You're trying to do a redemption thing of I'm sorry now, and then in the cop one, it comes off as well. I kind of learned a bit from him to do that movie. To play the part of the cop well. He just in these stories, the character doesn't go very far, doesn't learn anything or really do anything. It's more of just this one little moment in these people's lives of these stories, but it doesn't do anything. The reason why Michael J. Fox's character is renowned in Teen Wolf and Back to the Future, and yes, to a greater extent, the TV series Spin City, is that it actually has a story arc to it. There's a character development. In Teen Wolf, he was kind of a loser until he gained fame by being a teenage werewolf, or a teen wolf, if you will. Until he learned to not rely on it and win the big game on his stats alone, not the wolf's stats. In Back to the Future, he helps fix in the trilogy. He helps fix his parents' regret that they didn't stand up for themselves. You know, that his mother was basically a slut and his father was a wimp. And then later on, he tries to fix that regret that, well, gee, maybe I should have, like, not fallen in love with that guy that, my dad, hit in the street, blindly, and then this guy who never stood up for himself and taught him how to say, you know what, why don't I love people, for legitimate reasons instead of just kind of more because I feel sorry for them. But the Aiden Nyla, the how did Doc Brown say it? The Nightingale effect, where nurses fall in love with their patients. You know, so again, it's a story arc. He actually achieves something. That's why those are blockbusters. These are not blockbusters. These are shit stories where we try to understand the character, but then the character doesn't do anything. So we try to get behind them. It's like, okay, we're with you, we understand you, but then you don't do anything. And it just kind of gets head scratching. It's like, okay, and then the story ends. It's like, but how was that a story? We understand the character and his motivations, but then they don't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't resolve anything. It just goes blah, and then the end. You know? People don't like stories that go blah, then the end. It's like, okay, so that's not really a three-act structure there, is it? If we are showing the character's daily lives, we're showing the backstory of the character, okay, and then it just says blah. Watch these films. You understand the same thing where it's like, okay, I guess. How's that really a story? It doesn't resolve anything. Nothing is resolved. Nothing is better. It just ends, really. There's no real resolve. That's why these Michael J. Fox dramas are not, household names like Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. So, yeah. If you want to see again what makes a successful film versus what, even though is given a lot of money, like there's money behind it, there's quality behind it, and why it doesn't succeed to last the test of time, other than being shown in theaters or even on home video when it's not picked up, why people aren't liking it, because it's not a story to like. It's not a good story. So yeah, even though it stars Michael J. Fox and Kiefer Sutherland, it's a shit story. They don't do anything. Not really. And it kind of amounts to nothing other than a bunch of junkies getting through life. And then it doesn't do anything with them. It doesn't. It just shows these pathetic, pitiful characters being pathetic and pitiful. And nothing else. Nothing else. Doesn't show them saying, well, I've seen this trend that my life is taking, and I need to make a change. Nothing. Nothing like that. So, yeah. There you go. What makes a successful story great, and what makes a shit story shit and lost to test of time in the basement of some library in Torrance. So, yes. There you go. Nice little history lesson for you. Take care. Oh, and if you think it's just Michael J. Fox, trust me, there have been a ton. Schwarzenegger, Stallone, every blockbuster, big money grabber, lead actor, they have at least some films out there, a small handful of, films where people just up and forgot about them. Even though it is by this lead actor, this $100 million lead actor, yeah, people forgot about that title. Why? Because it's a shit story. The story wasn't good enough. Even though, yeah, the lead actor is, fantastic. The story is not, but you can feel it has production value behind it. That's the thing. Trust me, they're there. You just gotta look into their filmography and say, gee, why haven't I heard of that one? Probably because it's not very good. Just saying. It's not the actor's fault. It's the story. Alright. I'm done talking in circles. I know I'm wasted. Just take care and do your history. Check it out. You'd be surprised how many forgotten titles there were to your favorite actor or franchise. Trust me, they're there. Alright, take care.